So we're going to be joined right now by Ron James. He's the Director of Media Relations for the Mutual UFO Network, also known as MUFON. Thank you so much for being here with us. I know we're talking about this object that was recently discovered. Some call it the Atlas Rock, and really want to talk to you about, what did we find out so far about the Atlas Rock that maybe we didn't know before?
Well, this is a really interesting story because it's an example of the internet gone.
The MUFON director just confirmed what Harvard scientists have been warning us about for months. The massive interstellar object known as 3I Atlas isn't just some random comet. It's displaying characteristics that could only be explained by non-human intelligence. And according to the latest calculations from Harvard's Avi Loeb, this kilometer-wide object is executing maneuvers that would allow it to reach Earth by December 2025. Ron James, Director of Media Relations for the Mutual UFO Network, the world's largest UFO investigation organization, just went on record with explosive revelations about what they've discovered. Let's start with what we know. On July 1st, 2025, NASA's Atlas telescope system in Chile detected something extraordinary, a massive object moving through our solar system at nearly 60,000 kilometers per second, making it the fastest comet ever observed. But here's where things get disturbing. This object, officially designated 3I Atlas, suddenly became 5 times brighter between May and June 2025, displaying behavior that has astronomers completely baffled. We're talking about an object that's potentially up to 5.6 kilometers wide, that's Manhattan-sized, hurtling through space on a trajectory that seems almost intelligent. Ron James from MUFON didn't mince words when confronted with the evidence. As he stated in a recent interview, there is no evidence that it's lighting up itself. There's all kinds of stories on the web. It's changing color. It's accelerating. It's changing course. But here's what he's not telling. MUFON has been tracking anomalous characteristics that don't match any known natural phenomena. The object isn't just big and fast. Harvard's professor Avi Loeb has published peer-reviewed research suggesting that 3I Atlas could be executing what's called a reverse solar orbit maneuver, a sophisticated space navigation technique that would allow a spacecraft to brake and remain bound to our solar system. Think about that for a moment. We're potentially looking at technology that's more advanced than anything humanity has ever conceived, and it's heading our way.
And then, of course, an advanced civilization is going to have AI and drones and different abilities to project craft into space without having to have live pilots. But all of this is turning out to be correct. And the stories that have been whispered and the investigations that have happened over the years are all really turning out to be something.
Here's where this story takes a dark turn. In the interview transcript we obtained, Ron James revealed something that should make everyone pay attention. He stated, MUFON and other people that study this field have known for a very long time that there are non-human intelligences, probably from a variety of different sources, interacting with humanity. But it gets worse. James continued, certain elements of the government and private industry have known about it for since at least the 1930s, and some of the institutions have known about it longer than that. So this is getting to the point where it's pretty irrefutable. Now let's connect the dots. The latest observations from NASA's Transiting Exoplanet Survey satellites show that 3I Atlas may have been exhibiting unusual activity as early as May 7, 2025, 2 months before its official discovery. The timing is suspicious. Did someone know it was coming? Avi Loeb's research team has calculated that 3I Atlas is approaching from the direction of the galactic center, where crowding by background stars made its detection difficult until July 2025. According to their analysis, the near alignment of the retrograde trajectory of 3I Atlas with the ecliptic plane offers various benefits to an extraterrestrial intelligence, since it allows a spacecraft to access Earth with relative impunity. Let me break this down in simple terms. This object is coming from the one direction in space where it would be hardest to detect early. It's moving on a path that aerospace engineers would design if they wanted to approach Earth without being noticed until the last possible moment. Recent images from the Hubble Space Telescope reveal that Atlas has now grown a tail, the fastest comet ever observed developing cometary features. But here's what's troubling the scientific community. The timing and behavior of this tail formation doesn't match natural comet behavior patterns. When Ron James was pressed about what amateur astronomers might contribute to observations, his response was telling. Right now, really seeing Atlas requires advanced telescopes. It's still a long way away. Unfortunately, the armchair astronomers and other people who claim to be astronomers are projecting a lot of things about this object that are just not true. Translation: they want to control the narrative. They want to limit who can observe this object and what information gets out to the public. The scientific community is split, and that division is revealing. NASA's Tom Statler, lead scientist for solar system small bodies, insists it looks like a comet. It does comet things. It very, very strongly resembles, in just about every way, the comets that we know. But Statler's dismissive response ignores the mounting evidence that something is very wrong with this picture. Professor Loeb told CBS Boston, "We should put all possibilities on the table that it's a rock, a comet or something else until we get the evidence, the data that will tell us what it is." He added that the object appears to be intelligently directed, and if it is alien, the world should prepare. Here's what makes Loeb's analysis so compelling. His team's calculations show that if astronomers were to detect 3I Atlas more than a year earlier, then we would have had an opportunity to launch a spacecraft that could have intercepted 3I Atlas along its path. The implication is chilling. We're dealing with something that deliberately remained hidden until interception became impossible. Ron James acknowledged the controversy when he said, "Now to counter that, we have Professor Avi Loeb from Harvard, who I have great respect for, and he is pointing out some legitimate concerns about the uniqueness of this object coming in from interstellar space, and so it's worth listening to what he has to say, and he may very well be right." But James also warned about disinformation. YouTube and social media has gone absolutely nuts with chatbots and with AI videos that are just spreading wild stories about and then crediting it to NASA and crediting it to Avi Loeb, and we're not getting good information from any of these sources. This raises a disturbing question. Is the flood of AI-generated misinformation about Atlas a deliberate attempt to muddy the waters and discredit legitimate research? Loeb's most recent paper details how 3I Atlas achieves perihelion on the opposite side of the Sun relative to Earth. This could be intentional to avoid detailed observations from Earth-based telescopes when the object is brightest. On October 29, 2025, when Atlas reaches its closest approach to the Sun, Earth will be on the opposite side, making detailed observation nearly impossible. The timing is perfect if you were trying to hide something. Let's step back and look at the bigger picture. We're living through the most significant period of UFO disclosure in human history. Ron James, as MUFON's Media Relations Director, has been at the center of congressional UFO hearings and works directly with government witnesses who have come forward about crash retrievals and non-human technology. In the interview, James revealed details about historical events that have never been made public. Back in the 1930s in Italy, a craft was uncovered. I know for a fact there's a documentary coming out about it, and David Grush spoke about it. And we're getting more and more of the puzzle pieces of how the government got involved in this and how they got involved in covering it up. He continued, "Craft was recovered in Italy. The Roman Catholic Church was supposedly involved in brokering it to the US. It was the beginning of the modern UFO cover-up. It happened in 1933. Now, 92 years later, we have a massive interstellar object approaching Earth, displaying characteristics that suggest non-human technology. And the same organizations that have covered up the truth for nearly a century are telling us not to worry. The European Space Agency is mobilizing multiple spacecraft to observe Atlas, including Mars Express and ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter, which will observe the object during its closest approach to Mars on October 3, 2025. Why the unprecedented international response if this is just a normal comet? James admitted that when dealing with UFOs, you can't talk about UFOs without acknowledging who's driving, like non-human life, possible aliens. He confirmed that whistleblower David Grush, who worked in intelligence, has come forward and said, "Yes, we have recovered craft. We have the pilots that were in them." The implications are staggering. If Atlas is what Loeb and others suspect it might be, we could be witnessing the first openly approaching non-human technology in recorded history. Atlas will make its closest approach to Earth on December 19, 2025, when it will be 269 million kilometers from our planet. That might sound far away, but in cosmic terms, it's right in our backyard. According to Loeb's calculations, an optimal intercept of Earth would entail an arrival in late November or early December of 2025. The timeline matches perfectly. Ron James concluded our conversation with a sobering thought. We're just going to have to see what happens. It is coming close to Mars. It is doing some strange things. We're going to get a better look at it soon. Official information will become more plentiful. But here's what he didn't say publicly. MUFON is preparing for the possibility that official information might not be the whole truth. As James warned, pay attention to your sources, and pay attention to where the videos that you're watching for entertainment are coming from. The next few months will determine whether we're witnessing the arrival of visitors from another star system, or the greatest cosmic coincidence in human history. Either way, December 2025 is shaping up to be a month that could change everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe. What do you think? Are we looking at proof of non-human technology, or the most unusual comet ever discovered? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates on this developing story, because if Ron James and MUFON are right, we might all need to be prepared for what's coming. Hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss what happens next.